recording. Valentino Pacheco, right?
Yep,
With Ship Shape Commercial Cleaning in
that's right.
Albuquerque.
Yep,
That's cool, man.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Where are you at?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay, a lot
Yeah,
different over there than it is over here, I'm sure. I mean, we got dry climate over here.
man, it's like a different country, man.
Yeah,
Have
you've been
you
here
have you ever been
before?
out? Have you ever been out east? Like it's
Yeah, I've
yeah,
been out east, but I've never been to Tennessee. But I've
yeah,
been to
yeah.
like
Like I
Kentucky and
go to
stuff.
well, Kentucky and Tennessee, they're pretty similar. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. But like I've been to like California. I've been to New Mexico. I've only been to New Mexico like driving through. But
Sure.
I spent time in Arizona. I've spent time in West Texas, and like it's
Okay.
a different country. It's like different
Yeah,
cultures, different country.
for
That's how it
sure. Yeah,
feels.
absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Do you go by Valentino?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay,
Valentino's good.
Valentino.
But you
So
can call me Val or whatever. But
Val.
most everybody
Okay.
calls me Valentino. Yeah.
What so what ca- Tell us about your business and what all you guys do.
So I'm the owner of Ship Shape Commercial Cleaning. Started about 2 years ago, as I was working at the Veterans Hospital
Hmm.
for 17 years, and I was working there. Let me back up a little bit so it can kind of make sense how it all started. So about in 2007, I started at the VA
Hmm.
hospital, and I started there as a housekeeper.
Hmm.
And so, well, a little bit before that, I was in the military. I
Oh,
was in the
okay.
military, got out of the military, and had some problems, had some issues going on from you know, just traumatic stuff that was going on in the military. So when I got out, I made some really bad decisions. I really went
Hmm.
down the wrong path. So fast forward 2007, I began to get my life back together, began to refocus, focus on sobriety and all that. And
Hmm.
so what happened was the VA gave me a chance and they gave me an opportunity to be a housekeeper. And man, when I got that job, man, I'm telling you, I was so happy. Dude, I was like, man, this is a federal government job.
Hmm.
So awesome, that I had that a second chance at life. And I wasn't making a whole lot of money, but I was happy doing it. But then I began to really be focused and started beginning to get promoted within the ranks. And, in between that, learning about floors, learning about healthcare, learning about cleanliness and in the healthcare environment. Um, I started doing floors there and I started getting kind of, well, I thought it was, pretty good. I
Hmm.
was learning some things. I guess when I say pretty good, I guess, you know what? I was just a hard worker.
Yeah.
That's what it takes, a lot of times just to be a hard worker, learn, what works, what doesn't work. And so I started getting promoted. I was, supervisor. Then I became a manager. And this was all in California, Long Beach,
Hmm.
at the VA hospital there. I transferred out here to Albuquerque and was out here for about 10 years before I did an early retirement. And so I did the early retirement. Well, here's the thing. So I'm also a pastor of a church. So I
Hmm.
was pastoring the church here in Albuquerque and working in VA full time. And it
Hmm.
was quite a bit, man. It was a lot.
Hmm.
But I couldn't just leave the VA because, it's a small church and stuff. So I'm dependent on my income to
Hmm.
make it. But I began to say, you know what? All these things that I've learned through the healthcare, learning equipment, learning how to do floors, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot, and that's what I did. I 2 years ago I left the VA, started the Ship Shape Commercial Cleaning, and I'm able to make a living doing that, doing floors and doing kitchen cleaning and things like that, high dust and stuff like that. So that's kind of how in a little short synopsis, that's how I got to begin to do floors. And so I bought some equipment, side by sides, Kivaks.
Hmm.
Um, and I do a lot. I do a lot of concrete floors, cleaning concrete floors. I have a contract right now that I do every morning. I do it's like a big market. It's called Sawmill Market. It's just a big, huge place where they have uh, restaurants inside,
Hmm.
and so I go there before they open up, and we do the floors every morning. So we just run a scrubber, a walk
Yeah.
behind automatic scrubber, run that every morning. So that sustains me. That keeps me going. And then I have a lot of projects that I do here and there when I different restaurants that do VCT or laundromats or whatever.
How
Yeah.
how hard was it to make that switch to decide, hey, I'm gonna retire from the VA and see what I can do on my own? Like how hard was that transition? Like mentally
Yeah.
and financially, how hard was that? Because it seems like you were pretty secure, even though it wasn't a lot of money. It seems like it was a pretty secure thing to leave.
Well, it wasn't a lot of money when I started the VA, but when I left, I was making about 90,000 a year.
Oh, so yeah,
So I
well,
was I was
that's
doing good as a
yeah,
manager. I was doing really good. I had elevated into the that position of
gotcha.
assistant. You know what I mean? After all those years, and so the money was good, and so the switch was, well, it was a lot on me when I was at the VA because it was a very demanding job.
Hmm.
And then I'm a pastor of a church. So
Excuse me.
after church, I'm dealing with people. I'm dealing with counseling. I'm dealing with bringing messages and sermons and preparing. And so it was a lot. So the switch was, when I made the switch and I got the contract, man, I was just like, this is all good because now I can really. It's not
Yeah,
so demanding. It's not so hard,
yeah.
and the money is there. I'm doing pretty good when it comes to come to that. You know what I mean? I
It's
mean,
funny how it's funny how sometimes stuff like that kind of comes together. Like if you through the course of me talking to people on here, I've kind of told a little bit of my story, but um, I worked, I've done floors my whole life,
yeah.
but there was a 8 year window where I started working at Walmart, and I worked at Walmart for 8 years. I still did floors on the side as part time, but my full time job was Walmart, and it wasn't supposed to be like a career. It was just supposed to be something to kind of help fill in the gaps because I had broken my leg and I'd gotten sick. And then me and my wife were starting to talk about getting married. And like, I needed something more stable at the time and I needed potentially some benefits. So I went to work at Walmart. Anyhow, long story short, a couple years in, my wife gets pregnant. We get married. My wife gets pregnant. I got kids, more kids, and then and then a couple years go by. We have another kid, and it's like there's so much stability here. Like I can't imagine leaving Walmart because there's a paycheck every 2 weeks. I got benefits. I
Yeah.
got I got paid time off and blah 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 blah. And like so. Within about 2 years, I had decided, well, I guess this is my career now, so I need to figure out how to stop doing floor so I can focus on Walmart. And
Yeah.
for the last like 5 or 6 years of working at Walmart, that was my end game goal. Like I was like I'm going to be a store manager. Like I was an hourly manager, then I was a salaried manager, and then I was a higher salaried manager, and then I was like looking at that store manager position. I was like, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to quit doing floors. And then some things changed with how Walmart ran, and some things changed in our personal lives. And my dad retired, and me and my dad's floor businesses were separate. So hey, there we go. Balloons. Um, Me and my dad's floor cleaning business was separate, and so dad retired. I bought him out, put his with mine, and really quickly, like the business started growing because the last 5 years of dad doing the floors, he was done. Like he was mentally, physically just did not want to deal with it anymore. So he didn't grow the business. So I took over. All of a sudden, the business started growing, and things started changing at Walmart, and me and my wife went on vacation. Like I was making like 75,000 a year plus bonus at Walmart for a guy who didn't have a college degree. I didn't go to college. I barely finished high school, and
Same here.
like I some things have started changing. So left. We went on vacation. And bear in mind, I had like 5, maybe even close to 6 weeks of vacation time I got every year too. So 75,000 a year plus bonus, plus a month and a half of vacation every year. That's a hard thing to leave. And we got to talking about it. And I'm like, I think I can do better with the floors. Like, I really think I can. And I think I could have more free time to be at home with the family because I was working, 50 hours a week minimum at Walmart, plus spending at least another good 10 to 15 hours a week on either doing floors or managing floors. And so I was working a lot. And I made the decision, all right, well, we're just gonna go ahead and pull the plug. I'm gonna quit. And I was real nervous. And then the moment, like literally the same day I turned in my notice, I got offered a lot more work. That like, well, and
Yeah.
and in my head it was like, well, everything's gonna be fine. Like I don't have to worry about it. Like I don't know what I was worried about anyways, but in my head it was like that's a sign like I made the right decision. And now I work, not including doing the podcasting and not including the content creation that I do, where I'm sitting at a computer making stuff that all none of this stuff makes me money, but just actually physically going to work and managing the floors and managing the business. Like I might work 40 hours a week, maybe. And that would be like leaving my house, like in the truck, going to work and then coming back 40 hours, not
Yeah.
driving to a building, then working 40 hours and then coming home. So I see what you're saying. Like I think it's a similar thing. And it's funny how, I know you said you're a pastor, and if people of faith, they think about it like sometimes he provides, if you make the right
Yeah.
decision,
Yeah.
he'll
Yeah.
provide.
Yeah. If you're doing the right thing and you have integrity, and you gotta have really you have to have confidence in yourself that, man, you know what, you really okay. So I mean, I think it comes down to this. Really, you gotta be able to work hard, especially at the beginning. I mean, I had to work hard. I had to go, find people. I had to go to talk to managers and say, hey, I noticed your floors need this. Would you be interested? Here's my card.
Hmm.
And people saying no and not taking it, like
Yeah,
it's gonna destroy you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And but then when you get the yeah, they say yes, and then now you get the pressure. Now I gotta make it look good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then you do, and it comes out good, and you're like, man, wow, I'm glad I did that. And you made some good money,
Mm,
and you're like, wow, I'm like I'm doing it.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to start a business. I don't know anything about that, but I just took one step at a time. Got my business license, and I had a bookkeeper that was already doing the books for the church, so she helped me with that to pay taxes and things like that because that's important.
Oh
Pay
yeah.
taxes and keep up on that stuff because you don't want to get behind and all that stuff. And all that stuff, a lot of there's a lot, and but yeah, I mean, like my business isn't um, like maybe like yours or like on some of the other people, but we're making it, we're doing it, and I have steady income coming in, and it's not like where it's overwhelming for me to where it's a lot of pressure or anything.
Yeah.
It's just we just got to keep up on it.
One thing that fascinates me is just small business in general, and like people that people like you and I, or like anybody really that decides to take that leap and say, "Hey, I can continue making money for you and for this business, or I can bet on myself and I can try to make money for myself." And uh, it takes a different type of person. It takes an ambitious person that's not afraid to fail. Um, so
Exactly.
backing up to your 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 beginnings. So walk us through like really what you did to, you retired from the VA, and then
Hmm.
what steps you found your equipment, and then how did you go about getting your clients? Like walk us through that first like 3 to 6 months of like just really trying to get your feet under you, because that's what interests me, and I think that interests a lot of
Yeah.
people is like how do I make something from nothing? And
So
that's
it's
fascinating to
like
me.
this. It's a big dream, right? You want to have your own business and you want
Yeah.
to do all this, but we always have to remember that we need to take small steps to get there.
Hmm.
And so this dream that I have having my own business started way back when I was in Long Beach as a
Hmm.
housekeeper. I was running a kayak in this restroom. You know what a kayak is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was running a kayak in the restroom and getting my rest. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I do this at restaurants?
Hmm.
Like I think I go into restaurants and I see all these restaurants are nasty, dirty
Hmm.
bathrooms. If I can get a kayak, I know I can make some money. That was a dream years ago. And so when I retired, that was the first thing I got. I got a kayak, and I bought it used. Go ahead.
No, no, it's just that you can spray things down, you can vacuum everything up, you can
Yeah,
do everything all in one.
yeah,
Yeah, we had those at
right.
Walmart for a little while.
Yeah, you spray chemical,
Hmm.
into the surfaces, and then you use the you know high pressure to kind of get everything down, and then you vacuum everything up,
Hmm.
and the restrooms are deep clean. And so I had that dream, like, I'm gonna start a business one day. So as I was beginning to retire from the VA, I wasn't gonna buy one brand new. I found some guy in Phoenix, so that's a 6 hour drive from here.
Hmm.
Bought that in Phoenix, and I was just pumped up, man. I was like, yeah, dude, like I got this for $900.
Yeah.
It's nice, kayak. And I picked it up, And so when I decided to go ahead and step out, that's what I started doing right away. I started doing bathrooms,
Hmm.
started going to Chili's, started going to, and Chili's picked me up. I started doing all the Chili's around, not all of them, but three of them in Albuquerque. Began to do the restrooms on a weekly basis. So that really got started going. You know what I mean?
That's an
Go ahead.
interesting thing. Like I've mm, I think of floor cleaning and I look at floors, but you said I could start with bathrooms, and I would have never in a million years thought to go to a place and said, "Let me let this you guys just need a bathroom deep," because I've I've been to some restaurants where I'm like, Jesus, dude,
I know, like I don't even want to
yeah,
go
so
eat right now.
yeah, like and whether or not you want to be in these types of places or not is another thing. But like I could, back in the day, I don't really go out at night. I'm not in the bar scene anymore because
Yeah,
I'm older and I don't
getting
just
older.
don't do
Yeah,
that. But I remember going into like some bars and being like, oh my God, this is rough. But
yeah.
I think that's a wonderful idea, really, man. Like
And
hats
the
off to
thing
you, buddy,
about
for
it,
thinking of that.
well, the thing about it is, you have to find someone that values cleanliness. Not
Yeah,
everybody does. You know what I mean? Some of the people are like, nah, don't worry about it, it's just the way. You know what I mean? Some
yeah.
people are like, you know what, that's a good idea. Like I could use that. And you go in, and Chili's is one of them. Chili's, they value, well, here anyway, they value their cleanliness of their restroom. Their
Are
managers
Chili's
do.
privately owned? Are they
Well,
franchised or?
it's a franchise, yeah. So you just have to get vendorized through their um, corporate,
Okay, yeah.
and then once you're in, then you're in because then you can go to the managers and say, "Hey, I'm in, through the corporate. I'm
Hmm.
vendorized," and then they're like, "Yeah," because that's the hardest part to do. Once one of them gets you vendorized, then you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was so I started getting blessed, man. I just started doing the chilies around town, and then I started just kind of going to laundromats and saying, "Hey, I noticed your tile's really bad. Can I come in and I'll just tell them, can I wax your floors or
Mhm.
and then I would go in there and strip and wax or top scrub and wax laundromats, and that was the first 6 months. It was a lot. It was a lot of work at first.
What was your personnel situation like? Was it just you or did you have
Just
some
me,
helpers?
yeah. It
Just
was
you?
just me. And then when I got this contract with this market, sawmill market, the one I have now, we run a scrubber around the floors every morning. That I hired somebody for that, and
Yeah.
so I have someone that does that for me every morning. And so
7 days a
yeah,
week?
7 days a week, every day before they open up. So
Nice.
we go in at 5. We go in at 5, and about 7:30 we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
So the
grocery
thing,
stores. I got grocery stores that we do. Most of them are 5 days a week. I got one that's like 6 days a week, so we're there like every single day doing the floor. So
yeah.
it's hard to do it yourself because it's like that just eats up all your time. So I have to find someone else to do them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how you got into the grocery stores, man, but that's really good. Are they
It's
contracted?
yeah, they are. They're through a national contractor. I mean, they're so it's a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse because it's a paycheck that you can kind of depend on, but because it's
Yeah,
through a national contractor, there's not a lot of money there. Like I don't. If I was to tell you how much we make off a service in one of those places, you'd laugh at me because it is preposterously low. So, especially for like a 25 to 30,000 square foot grocery store, it is
yeah.
very low. And so the deal is so we're there 5 to 6 days a week. We're supposed to come in, sweep, scrub, buff, and
Oh,
and
go ahead and accept this one because my other battery's gonna die.
okay, it should be good to go. So whenever it does, just make sure you unmute the other one. Um, but the deal is,
The
yeah,
deal
we're
is, the
supposed to
deal is,
go
the
and
deal
ooh, I'm hearing an echo off that. You may want to
is.
go ahead and mute it for now, maybe.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
My
Uh,
battery's gonna die on my computer, so
you
we're
switched over
good.
to your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotcha.
we're good now.
So yeah, the deal is at the grocery stores, we come in 5 or 6 days a week. We sweep, scrub, buff, and you know, we're there an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they are when we're not there. They're supposed to clean up spills. They're supposed to clean up messes. They're supposed to do this, that, and the other. And on the days that we're not there, they're supposed to clean their floor completely when we're not there.
Yeah.
None of those things ever happen. They look at us as like 100% like
Sure.
the floor guy will be here. He'll just take care of it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
should, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. There's stuff everywhere. Should we sweep the floor now? No, the floor guy will be here tonight at 10 o'clock. Let's
Yeah.
let him
Yeah.
just deal with it. And so
Yeah.
the frustrating part is we get paid a preposterously low amount already, and then they rely on us solely to be their sole floor care. Like, and at the end of the day, that one of my biggest problems, my biggest problem with floor care with my business right now are those contracts. Like I want to quit them so badly, but at the end of the day, I also have to put myself in check because it's not just me I'm talking about. I have people that are doing them, and I actually don't do them very often because I have people that do them, and they're pretty happy doing it.
Okay.
The problem is my attitude when I go in. So I try not to go in because I have a bad attitude because I don't want to do it. But they've also been part of my business for years. Like my dad started doing them in the 80s.
Yeah.
One of them that gets done 6 days a week, I've personally cleaned for 21 years. And it's like, like I can go in there and I can do it with my hands tied behind my back and blindfolded. But at the same time, it's like I wasn't, we come 6 days a week. I wasn't here yesterday. You couldn't push a broom around for a second. Like you could,
Yeah. Yeah. How
so
long
the
does it
day
take
you
you to do that? To do one of those sweep? You said sweep,
sweep, scrub,
scrub
buff.
and buff. Okay.
Probably. I tell people prepare allot yourself an hour and a half.
Okay.
Sometimes it might take longer, sometimes it might take less. You should never be in there less than an hour. If you're there at 2 hours, come to a stopping point because they don't pay you to be there longer than 2 hours. Like our
Gotcha.
pay is so little as it is. If you're still working at 2 hours, come to a stopping point. You'll be back tomorrow. You'll be back the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. And so if the
Yeah.
store is that dirty, well, they can help.
Yeah.
So me personally, I'm in each store probably between an hour to an hour and 15. No, between an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how dirty the store is and depending on what my attitude is like that day. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I also have a pretty good relationship with these stores. Whereas they know that we're coming and they rely on us for everything, they also are pretty realistic as like, you know, even though they don't really do much, they don't expect us to gold plate their floor every day when we come in. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for the most part, there's a couple managers where I sincerely don't care about. Like I've actually made this threat. I have one of them. I've made the threat. I don't go in there. I have someone that does it 5 days a week. If he takes a vacation, he has to find his replacement. If he can't find a replacement, it's just not getting done because I'm not doing it. Uh,
Yeah.
and I've pretty much made this commitment to myself and to him. If there is a complaint from that store manager again, we'll stop. We'll just drop the store because I don't get paid enough. You don't get paid enough. Well, so it is what
Yeah.
it is. It's a give and take. But if you haven't worked with a national contractor, they are wonderful of keeping you busy. So, like, if you are really starting out and you're looking to grow your business, getting in with a couple of national contractors is the way to go because they'll feed you like all the big box chains. Like, you can get
Walgreens.
you can get into Marshalls, you can get into Ross's, you can get into Walgreens, you can get into Harbor Freights, all these national chains they will put you in. And some pay more than less. Others some pay really good. Some don't pay good at all. They'll also try to
Right.
put you in like Dollar General stores, and then you'll be like, I am not doing that for that amount of money. So it is what it is.
Right. Right. Right.
I had someone a couple years ago. It's been about 2 or 3 years. He offered me O'Reilly's Auto Parts outside of Atlanta, which Atlanta's about the outskirts of Atlanta is about an hour and a half away. So, but anywhere in Atlanta, it depends on traffic, how long it'll actually take me. He offered me six of them, and they wanted to pay $300 each to strip and wax.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, we'll supply the chemicals." Sorry, man. I don't care if it's the O'Reilly's 2 minutes down the road here. I'm not doing it for $300.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is.
How many employees do you have?
Well, I'm 1099. I don't have any W-2 employees, but all my subs, I have one full timer. He works full time. And then I have three part timers. One of the part times is permanent. The other two, they are permanent, but they don't have a set schedule. They just kind of fill in the gaps from my schedule.
Okay.
Those two, they actually have full-time jobs elsewhere. So like I try to give them a couple weeks notice. I use an app to schedule them, and I do my schedule, and then when I need to fill in gaps because I'm working here, I'm working there, I just need a night off, I get one of them to do it. So
Yeah. Yep.
so yeah, four guys, I guess. And then I have my son, my 16-year-old son. He comes with me a lot, especially in the summertime and on the weekends.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you find it where you're at sometimes hard to find good workers? Because
Yes.
you know what the work that we do is like you can't come in and just like kick back. I mean, you know, you got to move it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hard for me to find people that'll commit to doing it. So like all these guys I just told you about, with the exception of my son, they all work independently. Like nobody works as a team. Like everyone just goes. I give you your like I give you in most instances I'll just give you stores. This is your store. Clean it. If there's issues, you deal with it. I'm not dealing with it. I don't get paid enough, so if I get a complaint, all I'm going to do is forward that email directly to you, and then you deal with it. You don't want to deal with it, it's fine. You don't got to get paid for that complaint. It is what it is.
Right.
So, but man, like, yeah, it's really hard getting people. Like, I've so many people have started, and after you know a month, 2 months, no more than six, they're just done. And I don't know. It's just hard to find somebody that wants to kind of like not only work but also kind of like grow with you. I got a pretty good team of guys right now that I'm pretty happy with. Like my full-time guy, I actually hired him like a year and a half ago, and his name is Tim, and I'm super excited to have him on because like he handles it. He does a great job. I don't have to worry about it. If there is a complaint, like the few times there have been complaints recently, like I just send it to him and he just deals with it, and I don't have to deal with the stores because selfishly he does the stores I don't want to do because I don't like the management team there. so
Right. Right.
so like he saves me a lot, but and he also seems to have the mindset where he wants to make some money. And so when I do have extra work, like I also do epoxy and polishing as well. I don't get a lot of that work because I don't advertise for it, but when I do get it, Tim's always willing to work on those. And when he does that, like he finds someone to cover for him. That way, I don't have to do it. So it's been nice, but there has been times in the past. That was part of the facilitator between leaving Walmart and coming to doing floors because I couldn't find people to work. I was working 50 hours a week at Walmart and then could not
Yeah.
find people to work, and I was having to get off and then drive an hour and a half away to do other floors before I could
Right.
come home. I was waking up. I was
Yeah.
waking up and leaving the house at 6:30 in the morning, working all day at Walmart, and then not getting home till well after midnight because I had to go out and do floors after Walmart. And,
Right.
and that was the thing. It was like I can't find people. Do I need to continue, burning the candle at both ends, or why not stop? Because it was towards the end, it was like I am spread way too thin. I'm not being productive like I should at Walmart, and I'm also not being productive like I should on the floor. So I need to pick one.
Yeah.
I cannot do both. And so that was kind of the facilitator was like, I can't find people.
Yeah. 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 So it's a common problem.
Yeah. How about you? Like, is it just
Well,
you and one other person right now, or are you
yeah,
starting different stuff?
it's me and this girl. She works part-time for, she starts at 5 in the morning.
Hmm.
She gets off at 7:30, and then she has another job that she does. So,
Yeah.
but you know, I think I pay her pretty good, and she's been there now, I don't know, maybe 4 months, and she's
Hmm.
doing really well. She's consistent. I mean, I've had other people where, we start at 5 in the morning, so then I get a call at 3 in the morning. Hey, I can't make it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm already like mentally prepared. Not, I got other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so like I can't. They're telling me I can't. But she hasn't. She's called in like once, and she's done a really tremendous job. But it's part time. It's really helping her as she has another job,
Hmm.
just to make some extra money and things. And so she's picked it up real quick. I told her like because when you're doing floors, especially with the like an automatic scrubber or I guess any equipment, you want your workers to understand the equipment.
Yeah.
And so it took her a while, to kind of maybe a couple months to understand, I'm not going to replace the pad. You replace the pad, clean the squeegee,
Yeah. Yeah.
clean the squeegee,
Yeah.
or there's no water coming out. Okay, well, that means probably the filter underneath is clogged. Let's take the filter off. And so she's learned all that. And so that's really been really helpful too. So I don't have to constantly, because, the scrubber needs to be maintained every day. Something needs to be done. I got to clean the squeegee pads, filters, and all that. And so, but she's really picked that up. So that's been really good. Hope she sticks with me. Hope she sticks, because if she's gone, then I got to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
But,
No, you hit the nail on the head right there with the equipment. Like, so that's another thing, like that chain of stores I was telling you about, 5 and 6 days a week. Like I provide propane buffers for each store. So, that's mine. The store actually has their own scrubbers
yeah,
that we can use. We don't have to use, but we can use them. It's way easier because they're right there. But thing is, the stores don't maintain their own machines, and when they do use them, they like, oh, I need to go clean up some milk, and then they'll go suck up the milk, and then they'll go push it to the back and let it sit in the back room in the middle of summer,
yeah,
and then so when my crew comes in to clean the floor, like it smells like throw up in there,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
and then they also like on top of stuff like that, they just don't know how to maintain them. They don't care to maintain them. They never plugged it in. They'll use it
Right,
to clean something up, and then by my crew comes in, the battery's dead, and
right.
then or they'll knock something off of it, and then like so basically, I have to train. Like we're not supposed to do maintenance on these machines. It's actually not part of our job to do maintenance. Like I'm not even supposed to. We're not even supposed to change the pads. It's the store's job to change the pads. We are supposed to come in legitimately, unplug it, fill it with water, use it, um,
Clean
empty
it.
it, clean it out, plug it back in. That's what we're supposed to
Done.
do. Nothing else. But we end up doing all the low level maintenance on them
Yeah,
just because we have to in order to do our job. And so I have to
yeah.
train people to do all that low level maintenance, like filling, filling the batteries with water because after a while the batteries will dry out and you have to put the distilled water in the batteries. How to
Sure.
change the pads, how to flip the squeegee over, the squeegee blades, and turn them that way they're actually getting a good suction. How to adjust the squeegee on the back. The big things too is like the people in the store will occasionally hit it against things and knock the squeegee off, and then
Right.
they never put the squeegee back on correctly, and then it leaves water. And so like I have to train people like, is the rubber gasket on the bottom or is it on the top? If it's on the bottom, it's in the wrong place. It'll leave water. Take it back off, make sure that rubber gasket is on the top, put it back in. That's how it works. And there's a lot of that. But I pretty much got people now that are pretty good at it, and I don't necessarily have to. I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now with these guys. Like if one of them quit, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
If any
yeah,
one of them quit, I'd be like, man.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. One thing that I think that really helped us is what I learned in the hospital whenever so you say you strip and wax the floor, the floor looks good, you're finished. Well, in a 2 weeks time, I mean, or a week time, it can start looking like garbage again if they're not maintaining it, dust
mhm,
mopping and mopping the floor every day, burnishing here and there. So what I learned in the hospital was dust mopping, how important it is.
mhm,
And so what's really helped us at this place because they really like us. The floors look really good. Is she makes sure that she dust mops every day,
mhm,
and we dust mop the floors. And so I think a lot of times what happens with floors is people think you just grab the scrubber and just move the scrubber and just turn it on and just start moving it.
mhm,
But if you get a good dust mop before, you're gonna be able to maintain your floors a lot longer. And so
mhm.
that's really helped us to be successful at where we're at because they really like us. And but if I wasn't dust mopping every day, it would be look like garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what are aside from the one that gets cleaned every morning, what are some of your bigger contracts that you got?
I do, coffee shops. I do another market that I do it quarterly, and
Hmm.
but I do the high dust there, and I do the floors. So first
Hmm.
I do the high dust. It's like a real. It's like I don't know, I think it's 20 feet up, and it has a big fan, big
Hmm.
huge fan, and that fan gets really dirty. So I use a scissor lift to get up in there
Hmm.
and dust it and dust all the the pipes and
Yeah.
everything, dust all the pipes, and then I do the floors.
Hmm.
And I do that quarterly.
Gotcha.
For her, I do coffee shops. I do Chili's, um, but that's tile. I do another place called 66 Diner. I do that quarterly too. I do their kitchen, and so that's and I do their dining room and stuff. That's tile floor, but I do their kitchen, scrub. I top scrub their kitchen with I just put heavy duty degreaser on it. Use my side by side and then just vacuum everything up in that kitchen because it gets really bad.
Yeah. Do
And
you
so
do
just
the hood cleanings too, or no?
no, I don't do the hood cleans. Do you?
No, never
No,
have.
no, no. I mean, yeah, I never
Seems
got
greasy.
into it. Yeah, no, I never got into it or haven't yet. But it's not something I really. Usually they have somebody that does that separate.
I gotcha.
Most of the places, but
So
um,
so here you are now 2 years later, from starting the business.
yeah,
Where do you want to see yourself in like the next 2 or 3 years? Like,
yeah. I'd like to see a couple more contracts where I can maybe hire one more person, or I can put this girl that works for me now, give her more hours too. Have her come with me, um, and just because but I want to be able to do it, but I want it to be manageable because I got the church and I got
mhm.
ministry here, and I don't want to get too far. I'm not looking to get rich or anything. I'm just looking to be able to pay my bills, support my family, and be able to do ministry without being overwhelmed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
You and me
yeah,
both. That's exactly verbatim what you just said. That's what I want. Like, I don't want to get rich. I don't want multiple. I don't want multiple crews that I'm having to worry about. Like, I don't want like you take the truck, you go that way. You take the truck, you go that way. I'm gonna sit here and push papers around, and I'm gonna rake in. Like, that's not what I want. I want to continue to work, but I don't want to overwhelm myself. Like,
yeah,
I just want to be able to pay the bills.
yeah.
Provide a good life for my family.
They look like you're probably about my age, so we're kind of when you get to where we're at, it's not about. I mean, we've already grinded it out, man. Younger guys, you know what I mean? Like we've
Mhm.
already, and there's nothing wrong with. I mean, I'm still healthy. I'm doing good. I feel
Yeah,
strong. I still grind it out, man. I'm not afraid to work. Um,
yeah,
but I'm not overly ambitious to like build this big empire. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
I
I
look
think.
back.
Well,
I look back at like my 20s, and I know you said you were in the military, and then you had some rehab
yeah,
and recovery, right? That you had to go through. Like, I never had any of that. I wasn't in the military, and like I didn't. But I look at my 20s and like how I just wasted them, man. Like, I worked hard. I did a lot of floors, and I made a lot of money, but I wasted my money. I wasted my what's the word I'm looking for? I wasted my resources. I wasted so much, but I think that's everybody. What person in their 20s has it figured out? But I made good money. Like, there was one year I think when I was like 28 or 29, for the first time in my life, I made over $100,000, and like my truck got repossessed twice that year. And it was not because I couldn't pay the. It's not because I didn't make enough money. It's because I just didn't manage my money well. I
right.
didn't do things right. I was drinking my profits, legitimately drink like I don't want to say I was an alcoholic, but I definitely drank a lot of alcohol. And like
Right.
I I would get off work every night and go to the same bar and just spend $100 on drinks and food and that
Yeah.
guy's drinks and that girl's drinks and that person's drinks and then the server, you want a drink, and that was every
Yeah.
night. And like I look back now, I'm like, man, I could if I'd have done things just a little bit different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that nonsense has put me where I'm at today, and where I know better on things. And had I never went through it, I don't know if I'd be here today. Same thing with Walmart. Like, I worked at Walmart for 8 years. Uh, I did good at Walmart for a guy who didn't go to college, barely finished high school, like, and then it was like a paid education. Like, if you can manage at Walmart, you can manage anywhere. Like, if you can manage people at Walmart, you can manage
Oh
anywhere
yeah.
and
For
do it
sure.
because those people don't want to be managed. Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like you literally have to figure out how to manage people that don't want to be managed, like actively. are against being managed, and so that was a huge help to me. And like now, like I can manage people. Like the art of delegation is one of the big things I learned at Walmart. So
Well, being at Walmart or the VA managing people is like herding cats.
oh, it is like herding feral cats.
I mean, so if you can do that, I mean, but see how, well, the way I say it, God prepared you for what He's doing now. He prepares us because, like, what we go through all these things, we're dealing with people. Now we can deal with anybody, and as
Hmm.
we have a little bit more experience, and a little bit more, wisdom now in our life, and now we can deal with people, and that's what it takes to start a small business. You have to be a people person
Oh yeah, yeah.
because you got to be able to go and meet people, talk to people. Um,
Go out of your comfort zone. You got to be
Go out
willing
of
to be
your
shut
comfort.
down a little bit. Yeah.
You got to be willing to be shut down. You got to be willing to people to say no. And then you got to kind of figure out things from there. But then you also have to have customer service,
Hmm.
and sometimes be nice when you don't want to be nice, things like that. But
Yeah.
you, you know what I mean.
Yeah. That. Oh
But
yeah, I know that one.
but it takes experience and it takes time to get there. I mean, when I was 20, I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
And
remember.
so,
I
yeah,
remember. I used to clean. I'm never going to clean them again, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Office Depots, like they don't have tile now. They all have carpet, as from what I understand. But and I don't sincerely don't ever want to clean another Office Depot ever. But I was cleaning this one, and I
yeah,
had the contract for maybe 6 months. So to rewind the clock a little bit, growing up, my dad had Office Depots. He had a bunch of them. We did them for years. I did them all throughout my teenage years, and then around at some point in my late teens, like either he quit doing them or he lost them along the way. I think he lost them to another contractor at some point. And then in my mid late 20s, I don't know, I was about 26 or so. I got offered like three or four and I took them and they were nothing but problems. And I remember I went to this one, which was ironically enough close to my house. I don't get a lot of work close to my house. So this one was like the closest one to me, which was like 7 or 8 minutes from the house. Went in, we did the floor, and part of the floor cleaning was like you have to clean the bathrooms in the break room too, which I don't do a lot of janitorial. I do mostly just floor. So if I need something else janitorial done, I'll bring someone else. They'll do the janitorial, I'll do the floor. It makes it easier and like it is what it is. So I brought someone with me. Store manager signed off on the paperwork. We left, and then not even an hour later, I get a phone call saying, "Hey, that store manager is complaining about this, that, and the other," and like this. And so I said, "Okay, well, I'll go back." Called the store, rescheduled, went back again the next day. We did the whole service all over again. And we went slower this time, like more detailed. He says, "Oh, signed off on the paperwork again." Left, went home. Same thing. About an hour later, get a phone call. Still not happy. Um, so I waited a week, went back again. I brought a third person. So three of us went. The same store. Did the whole service all over again. Store manager looks me in the eye and goes, like, I see that you're trying, but maybe this type of work is not what you're meant to do because I don't think you're very good at it.
wow,
And my scrubber was full of water. Like I just scrubbed the floor. I just scrubbed the floor. And so my scrubber and buffer were sitting right there and I was getting ready to push it out. And I said, okay, so you're not going to sign off on the paperwork? He goes, no, not until we get it right. I can't in good conscience sign off on your paperwork until you get it right. And I said, okay, well, I'm not coming back. And then I dropped the dirty water tank in the on the sales floor and flooded his sales floor with dirty water and then left. And you know, I'm not I'm proud of that, but I'm not proud of it at the same time because like
yeah, yeah. What a
I got some nasty emails after that and I actually not only did I lose all the Office Depots, which was fine, I lost a couple other contracts because that contractor stopped working with me altogether after that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I
So I
mean,
lost those and I lost some Walgreens and something else, but it was like the guy pushed my buttons at the wrong time, and
yeah,
I was a
yeah,
kid, and I was hot headed, and I was like, I'm not. You don't talk to me like that. Like if you're unhappy, that's fine. Just say, you know what? Look, I'll sign off on it, but don't come back.
right.
That would have been perfectly fine. But you've
Yeah,
wasted my time three times. I paid those people that went with me too.
sure, sure, sure.
So it's like, yeah, here's your dirty floor back. I'm putting
Yeah,
it back on
yeah,
your floor. You deal with it.
yeah. That's hilarious, man. I mean, We're constantly dealing with tough customers and people of that nature all the time. I get it, man.
Oh
I get
man,
it.
yeah, you roll up on some people sometimes, and it's like you meet them. I've been doing this a long time, man, and I'm sure you come across it too. Sometimes you meet that person, and their face and their tone of voice, it just says, "I'm not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
not."
Yep.
I drove all the way to Knoxville
Yep.
Monday, this past Monday. I live in Chattanooga. Knoxville's an hour and a half away. This is actually on the other side of Knoxville. It was actually about 2 hours from my house. Guy calls me and goes, "Hey, I got a 4,500 square foot barn dominium. I need the concrete slab. I want all 4,500 square foot. I want it epoxy." I said, "Okay, what you looking for?" He goes, "Maybe in a metallic floor, or if not, then just a flake floor." I said, "Well, I don't really do metallics. I can, if you want it done, I'll bring in someone else to kind of help, but the quote will be a lot. It'll definitely be higher. But if you would just want a flake floor, that's not a problem. I can do that. No big deal." He goes, "Okay, well, we'll probably just stick with the flake floor." I said, "Okay." He goes, um, "What day you want to come up and look at it?" I said, "I'll come Monday." This was last Saturday. I said, "Okay, I'll come Monday." Uh, went up there Monday. And the way I talked to him on the phone, it was basically like it was kind of like a done deal. Like he's like, "Just come give me your quote," and that's about it. And I said, "Okay."
Right.
I drove 2 hours up there, man. 2 hours. Uh, got there, and I shook his hand. And I could just tell by looking at him,
It's gonna be a problem.
he's a problem. I could just tell by the way because there was
Yeah.
other contractors there working. They were still building this thing, and I could just tell how he was talking to them. And then we go in.
Yeah.
I look at
Yeah.
the floor. I took some pictures. I measured it just to make sure the measurements were correct because with epoxy, you want to be pretty exact because it's expensive stuff. And I did some measuring, and then he goes, "Well, what's your quote like?" So I'm not the most expensive epoxy guy. I'm not the cheapest. I'm not even the middle of the road. I'm probably between the cheapest and the middle of the road. Like I'm in the bottom. Like I'm a self-employed guy. I have little to no overhead, so I try to keep my prices reasonable for customers. That's
Yeah.
VCT, epoxy, doesn't matter what it is. I try to keep my prices reasonable. As long as I'm making a profit, I'm happy. I try not to. Not trying to get rich. Gave him my price, and he said that my price was.
Absurd.
He's basically what he said was like I had someone else come by, and so I quoted him at $6 a square foot. No,
Uh-huh.
actually, I quoted him at 7, and he was like, "I can't. There's no possible way." I said, "Well, I came down to 6." And he said, "Well, I had another guy that quoted me at 4, which on 4,500 square foot was about a $6,000 or $7,000 difference." And I just said, "Well, sorry, man. This is my price, and this is what we'll do. It's not. It's in addition to epoxy, it's actually a moisture vapor barrier because it's actually built into the side of a hill. So underneath is ground. On both sides, on two walls is underground. So it's actually a moisture vapor barrier that's going to stop the epoxy from coming in, or stop the
Much.
moisture from coming back in from the ground. And you're also going to get the benefits of the epoxy as well. And then we fill all the cracks. We do this. Just naming the benefits of what we do. And the whole time I'm talking and just trying to explain to him what it is I do, he's just, I know, I've been through it all before, just one of those. And like,
Yeah.
I was there probably 12 minutes and I left and I'm like, I drove 2 hours up here, 2 hours home. He wanted me, I could tell that he wanted me to like dicker on my price and like come down, which maybe if he lived next door, I might, or in town, I
Right.
might, but
Right.
not 2 hours away. And then like, I could just tell. And
And not when you know you're gonna have a problem because you're like, it probably that 12 minutes you're out of here, probably driving away going, you know what? It was worth it not getting this job because it was gonna be a headache.
that's exactly what it was. Because my distributor on the way up there, I called my epoxy distributor just to like get a roundabout estimate of what the materials were going to cost, and the materials are about 13 to 15,000 for that.
Yeah.
Epoxy is expensive if you've never done it, and so like so I was talking to him about it, and yeah, between 13 to 15,000 just in materials. So I called him on the way back, and he goes, "You didn't get it?" I said, as of right now, it's a no, and I think I just dodged a bullet. And if he does call me back and say, "Hey, let's just do it at your price," I may not exactly say no right away, but I'll definitely think about it before I say no because, you know, I'm not hurting for work. I don't need that. I don't need trouble customers, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. So, hey, how did you start this podcast? It's pretty cool, man. That you got the whole mic right there, and I mean, you do a good job at it. Like, what gave
Um,
you that idea?
I like to talk. I like to talk and I like to talk to people about common interests and I like listening to podcasts. I'm actually late to the podcast world. Like I didn't start listening to podcasts until right around COVID.
Okay.
And for the longest time I thought they were like I was like I could not imagine listening to someone just talk like conversations like that seems. And then
Yeah.
what happened was I had gotten really heavy and I was up around 300 pounds and I was trying to lose some weight. Actually, right before COVID, I was trying to lose some weight, and then I discovered some people on podcasts that had good nutrition information that I liked and I thought might
Yeah.
work for me, which translated into podcasts. And then I throughout COVID, I lost in 2020, I lost about 100 pounds in
Ah,
the year of 2020 just from listening.
congrats, man.
Thank you. Just from getting good nutritional advice off of
Yeah.
podcasts. And so, anyhow, fast forward to now, I'm just a huge fan of podcasting. And I feel like in the floor cleaning and just the flooring industry, like there are a few podcasts out there, but they all seem like planned and they seem scripted and they seem like they're just talking heads. And there's not a lot of real information out there. And I like conversations like this where like someone who is wanting to start their own. They can learn from my mistakes. They can learn from your mistakes. They can learn from
Yeah.
our wins, and they can kind of
Yeah.
help. And so I thought, well, I can probably do something like this. And then about 6 months ago, I don't know if you paid much attention to my Facebook page or not, but I about a year ago, almost a year ago, I started doing video content creation. So I make videos for my work, and I post it up
Is
as
that
like
you that does the one where you like you're doing real fast forward, you're stripping the wax in the
yeah,
floors,
that's
or doing
yeah,
something I don't know what, but you're going like fast forward through the
yeah,
aisles of the grocery store. That's you?
yeah, that was me. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I thought. Yeah, yeah. No, that's genius, bro. That's really cool, man.
yeah.
I,
I
I
appreciate that. Yeah, I like.
no, I mean
Well,
that really got my attention, dude. That's
I
cool.
thought in the in the flooring there's quite a few guys in epoxy and polishing that do content creation, but there's not a lot that in the VCT world that do content creation. And if they do, it's just kind of like slapped together and just granted they're trying, but it's
Quality.
not like the quality like that you kind of look for in like in reels. So I started doing that, and then about 6 months ago, a guy reached out to me out of Atlanta that does pressure washing, and he goes, "Hey man, I got a podcast. I see what you're doing. Would you be interested in coming on the the, the podcast and talking about it?" And I was like, "You have a podcast? You can podcast about pressure washing?" And I so I did his podcast, and the moment I got off the phone with him, I'm like, I can do this. I can do the same thing, and I think I can make it more interesting because he, as fun as it was talking to him, he was not a conversationalist. He even told me on the podcast, I'm doing this so I can learn how to talk to people better. And I'm like, well, I can do this, and I can talk to people. And
Yeah.
within about 3 to 4 weeks after getting off the doing the podcast with him, I launched this one. Like as soon as I got off the phone with him, I started planning it, and I said, "This is what I'm
Yeah.
going to do." And I was a little nervous at first, and I wasn't sure if people were going to be interested, or if it was going to be something, or if anyone would want to actually come on. But since launched it, I've consecutively been booked 1 to 2 months out. So
Wow.
I
That's
already
cool.
have most of July is already booked, and then I'm already booking into August. So
No, it's cool because I mean I don't know how I stumbled across the Facebook page. Uh, Strip and Wax World, I think it's called, Floor
yeah.
Strip and Wax World, something like that.
Hmm.
And I just stumbled upon it. I don't know maybe because I posted before and after pictures on floors or something. So it popped up, and I joined, and then I see your stuff, and then I see how many people are on there, all the questions, all the people that are doing floors is really cool. And I may have even asked a question in there, hey, how do you do this or something like that? What do you
Yeah.
guys use? What do you use? Whatever. And so I've learned a lot, and then I saw your deal, and I kind of looked into it. And I think somewhere you put, if you're interested, hit me up, and we'll
Mhm.
schedule you. And I'm like, cool, man. I mean, I love floors, man. Floors have really been a big part of my life. It's helped me to, I mean, like I said, it wasn't like I grew up wanting to do floors or something, but it's just what the way that everything landed up, and it's given me a good quality life, and I take pride in it, and I love it. I love doing floors, and I love doing a floor and seeing the job when I'm done.
Mhm.
Um, I love to see the customer happy. I love I don't know. It's just it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's a,
yeah,
it's a the barrier to entrance is pretty easy. Like you can you can start with nothing, and then you can take like I would probably argue that $500 you can start a floor cleaning business. You can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can find a swing machine for two, $300.
yep,
You can find a used shop vac for less than $100. You can
yeah,
find some used mops and mop buckets for 20 or $30 each,
yeah, yeah,
and then a gallon of stripper, a gallon of wax, or a gallon of stripper and 5 gallons of wax. And then all you need is a client. All you
yep,
need is one. You you
yeah,
you, you find one 1,000 square foot building or one 1,000 square foot room, you've made your money back plus some, and you're in the
yeah,
business. Like
yeah,
it can be done, and people do it all the time. And unfortunately, that has kind of flooded the market. I don't know about out there, but it kind of floods the market out here. So it's almost hard to find stuff.
yeah. Find
Um,
stuff like what? I mean, work or equipment or what?
Work like VCT work, like
Okay,
because there's a lot of people that's flooded that market, which is what kind of opened the door and facilitated me moving on to epoxy and trying to expand my business
got you. Yeah,
outside of just cleaning and moving on to actually coatings,
yeah,
which has been great for me because I don't want to say I don't want to like puff myself up with pride or anything like that or be too prideful, but like I'm pretty good at it at VCT. Like is there room to learn? There's always room to learn, but I feel like I've done it and tried it all. Whereas
yeah.
epoxy is like this new thing, and I can take and I can focus my energy on like
Learn.
figuring that out now.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. I was listening to your podcast with uh what was his name? Michael, the guy with the beard.
Matthew Manning.
Matthew. So yeah, you guys are talking about, when you do a floor that you need to tell the customer, look, I'm gonna do your floor, I'm gonna strip and wax. If you're talking about VCT, I'm gonna strip and wax, I'm gonna make it look nice. But you gotta understand, I gotta come back
Hmm.
because it's not gonna stay like that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of thing I learned because I have to understand that when I do a floor and it looks good, it's not going to stay like that. And 2 weeks later, the guy might be like, "Hey, what happened?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is it the floor looking good? Well, you got to first of all, you got to maintain it, and
Hmm.
then I got to come back soon and do a top scrub and
Hmm.
lay another coat of wax. And so, little things like that you're teaching people,
Hmm.
little things like that from the Facebook page. I think it's good resource. I think it's a good deal, man.
Well, I appreciate it. What are you doing to
Yeah.
maintain it? Do you have floor buffers too, or do you have any?
Well, no, I rent if I need something. Well, I have a side by side, or you call it. I got a side by side. I use
Yeah.
that. And I
Oh,
got
you don't have an actual like burnisher.
no, I don't have a brush. I'll rent one.
Gotcha.
So I'll rent one. It's like $70 or maybe 40, but I think it's $70 for the to use it for the day or whatever.
Is
And
that
so
electric one or is it a propane one?
it's electric one, 20 inch. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I use a
Man, you
white
need to buy
pad.
one, man. That way you just have it.
You know what? I just need room, man. Um,
You don't have room to
I,
store it
I
yet.
I'm using my garage. You know what I mean? Half my garage is all my stuff, and the other half is my wife's car.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm thinking about putting stuff in a storage
Mm.
and making my garage, my regular garage, and then be able to buy more equipment.
Yeah. Can I
So
make a suggestion?
yeah,
One thing that I found that kind of helped me because I was kind of running into that problem is storage, and we don't own our house, we rent, and unfortunately we rent from a very close friend, which is a good thing, not unfortunately, but it's a very close friend. And so like
yeah,
uh we the garage is still full of his stuff.
Gotcha.
So 90% of what's in the garage is his stuff. So I'm trying to run a business out of there. I also buy and sell equipment out of there. So one thing that I found that helped me was I realized that I use trailers, enclosed trailers all the time. And it's like, if you, so I realized, and this is one thing my dad told me actually. He's like, if you have a trailer, you don't need to store things. You just keep it in the trailer. Like it's all,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I actually have three. Well, no, excuse me. I have two trailers and I have a work truck, which is my personal truck that I drive every day anyways. And then I
Yeah.
have a work van. And
Yeah.
so my work van, I keep my little scrubber and a little buffer in it at all times. Always there. And then I have a trailer, I have a smaller trailer I keep all my stripping equipment in. So it's always just ready to go. And then I have a even bigger trailer I keep all my concrete grinding stuff in. So I'm not constantly having to unload, reload, move stuff, move
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
once I figured that out, I was like, I don't yes, I could pay for a storage unit, but I'm also have to pay for a trailer and I own something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that will work for you. I don't know.
So where do you keep your trailers at? On property where you're at? It's a
Yeah.
big property. You got
Well, we
like an acre or something?
No,
Half acre?
we live in a subdivision. I park them behind the house where no one can see them. They're just kind of I back them up behind the house,
Yeah.
and that way, like the big one, the concrete trailer, I only use it like maybe once a month, but it's a 7x14, and it keeps all of my concrete stuff in there. I don't have to store it in the garage, and it's just there. And then
I love that idea, man. I mean, that's a great idea, man. If I could just get one, I don't know how big are what size are your trailers, the enclosed ones?
so my big one is a 7x14, and it is massive. I mean, massive for me. It's actually overkill. It's way bigger than I ever would need.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got it at a good deal. Like I bought it used off of Facebook Marketplace. I got it a screaming deal on it,
Like
and
how
so I
much?
bought it. I bought it used for $1,900.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I bought
Man,
a back. I guess 3 or 4 months ago, I bought a brand new 5x8, and I paid 3,100 for it, brand new.
really? That's it? That's
Yeah,
how much they are? They're not that much then.
you have to shop around. So this one I bought in Middle Tennessee. I was about an hour and a half drive, and I drove out there, and I was fortunate enough to, in a position where I could just pay cash for it, and I had it. Whereas if I would have bought the same thing in Chattanooga, it would have been about $600 or $700 more. So I
Okay.
shopped around. I found one, and that 5x8. I can't tell you how much I love that little trailer. Like it's so nice. Like my Silverado pulls it, no problems. The gas mileage is not even that bad on it. Like, yes, I can't stand up in it. I'm 6'2". I cannot stand up in it, but it's not a big deal. But
Yeah.
I can keep all my stripping equipment in it. And I travel out of town for strips a lot. So, like,
Uh-huh.
with it being a smaller trailer, it's easier to maneuver in traffic. I get better gas mileage in it. And, like I said, not only do I use it for work, it's for storage. So I can store all my stripping equipment in there for the most part, including stripper and wax if I wanted to, and it's just always there. And then I'm not having to get stuff in and out of the garage.
I mean, because I got like a ramp that I load up everything on the back of my truck. Boom. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I mean, I need a trailer. But what I was thinking was I was going to take everything to storage, put there, and then just load everything up into my truck, the back of my truck, and take it to jobs and stuff. But I might as well just looking to get a trailer. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was thinking the same thing. I really was like probably 6 months ago. I was like, I just maybe I should just get a storage unit. And I went and looked at storage units, and storage units were going to be like for a size that actually makes a difference was going to be between like 75 and like
Yeah,
130 a month.
right.
And then I'm like, well, like for that, like that's a lot. That's not a lot of money, but it's like that's
You're throwing
just
it
to
away.
store stuff, and I don't own anything. And then my dad was like, just go get another trailer. He's like, you can finance one for that price and then own it. And I was like, that's a genius. And so I
Yeah,
went started looking, and I had some money roll in, and I was like, I'm just gonna go buy one. And
right.
it's been a game changer. All I got to do is change trailers and go.
Yeah,
Then and then my van, like I said, my van always has my just general floor cleaning equipment. It's just there, and
right.
that's what I use for my route work every week.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, real quick on VCT wax. When you lay wax, Do you lay it thin, or do you lay your coats thin, or do you lay them thick, or how does that work for you?
Um, Thinner is always better every single time. But just as a general rule, say you strip a floor all the way down to bare tile, the first coat should be the thickest. The
Okay.
thickest coat you should ever put on is the first one, and then they should get thinner each layer after that. By the time you get to your last layer, it should be thin, 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 thin. Because that first coat is actually going to get absorbed into the pores and into the tile more. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but when you actually wax on bare tile, it's harder to wax than it is on wax. It's because you're catching drag, you're getting pulled down into the pores, you're getting pulled down into the cracks. So the first coat, I wouldn't say heavy. I don't believe in any type of heavy coats ever because the heavier it is, one heavy coat is harder to strip off than three thin coats. So you got to think to the next time. Like three thin coats will come off no problem. One heavy coat, screw your night up. Uh, so
Yeah.
just the first, I use the four coat method. I generally, in most cases, four coats. Sometimes three, sometimes
Uh-huh.
five, sometimes even six, depending on where it's at and what it is. But
And depending on how fast it dries, so you get out of there.
depending on how fast it dries. And out here right now, this time of year, it's so hot and humid. It takes a minute for wax to dry. So thinner, just in general, thinner is always better. But yeah, that first coat, the thickest. Second coat, a little thinner. Third coat, a little thinner. Fourth coat, thinnest. That's how I
So,
usually do
so
it.
do you use a flat mop or do you use a string mop when you're laying wax?
I use an 18-inch Rubbermaid flat mop.
Okay, so that's what I use too. I know a lot of guys that use. I have this one guy that's done some work for me. He does with the string mop. He does great, man.
Hmm.
He does really good. He doesn't want to use a flat mop. You know, he's
Yeah,
old school,
yeah.
but yeah, I
No,
like flat mop.
a buddy of mine, he actually worked for Walmart for years doing floors, and he was really good with just a regular, just a off the shelf mop. He could wax the hell out of a floor with an off the shelf mop, and he was really good at it. I put a flat mop in his hand, he was useless,
All right.
almost useless. He says, I just don't know how to maneuver it, and it depends on what you're used to. I've been using those flat mops my whole life, and
Hmm.
you put a mop in my hand to try to wax the floor, I'd probably screw it up.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't. I use the dip method. So I put it in the rolling container, pour the wax in on it, and then I actually dip out of it, and then that's how I wax. I know a
Right.
lot of guys that'll actually
Talk,
pour the
talk to me
wax on
about
the
that
floor.
real quick.
What's that?
Tell me about that process real quick. Say it again? The
So,
dip.
like, I have a rolling bucket. So if it's a smaller area, I have a Rubbermaid bucket that actually is made to hold that exact thing, and it's on wheels. So I'll just fill that thing up with however much wax I want, and then when I
Uh-huh.
wax out of it, I just dip out of that. And
Okay.
so I'll actually drain it, I'll shake it, do
Yeah.
whatever I got to do to get a little bit of the wax out, and then I'll go out to where I'm going to go. I'll stop, and then I'll wax my way back.
Right.
Um, that's how I do. That's how we've done it my whole life. And when we do a larger building, like the video you were just speaking of, where I waxed 30,000 square foot, I actually used a brute barrel.
Yeah.
Um,
Saw that. Yeah.
and I think for that one,
With
like
wheels.
yeah, I dumped 5 gallons in there, and then because that was a recoat, it wasn't a full strip. Like it had been stripped the night before, it was a recoat, so people had been walking on it that day before. I cleaned it before I started, but they're still going to get trash and stuff in there. So I think probably I stopped it twice and d- dumped out, and rinsed it out to make sure I got the debris out of it, and then refilled it again with
Yeah.
more wax, and then that's
Yeah.
just kind of how I do it. And I'm pretty good about estimating how much I need on a wax head at any given time. But I know a lot of guys that pour their wax out. There's a crew here.
Yeah.
There's a crew here not in town, but they live close by, and I know them very well. And I've never really worked with them before, but their boss called me like a year or so ago. He said, "Hey man, we are short on people. We have this big store. We need a helper. Would you want to help?" And as a general rule, I don't like working with other crews because I like to do things the way I like to do it. And, if I go work for your crew, like, it's not my position to tell them how to do things. Like, they would want me to do it their way. So I told them, like, look, I'll help, but what I suggest to do, they strip the floor. And then as soon as they kind of get started, like, I'll come in behind them and go ahead and start laying the wax down. And so that's what I did. I came in and I did the whole first coat and a half of wax as they were stripping the floor. I did the first full coat and then half the second coat by myself. And once they started waxing, after after they were done stripping and they started taking over waxing, I actually just left because I didn't want to get in their way, and they kind of didn't want to get in my way. But they would actually, they were using the same wax I was, which is in a box with a
Yeah.
bladder inside. I pour it into a bucket, and that's how I wax. They were actually taking it
And
and
pouring it.
pouring the wax directly on the floor,
Right.
which to their credit, I mean, it looked fine. They did it. They worked like ants. Like they just can. Everybody's just moving. You can't tell who's doing what, but they did a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
I would waste so much time trying to figure out how much wax to pour on the ground at this point. Like I just dump it in the bucket and go.
Yeah, because I did a job the other day. It was just a little break room. It wasn't that big at all. But I was pouring it, and I think I poured too much because it got kind of just got kind of it just kind of a little bit wavy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it wasn't just so. Um, I think if you're gonna pour, you can pour, but you just need to know how to do it. You know, with
Yeah.
test
So
trial and error.
probably 25 years ago, I was a teenager. Um, um, we had a distributor come out and was trying to sell us their wax, and so they basically supplied the stripper and wax for this one job, and they were trying to basically get us to switch over to their particular brand of product, and they also sent a rep to come show us how to use it, whatever. And when it came to the stripper is stripper is stripper. Some strippers are better than others, but for the most part, stripper is stripper. As long as if you know what kind of wax is on there, any stripper is going to work. You can strip a floor with degreaser if you really wanted to, I suppose. But
Yeah,
the waxing is where it kind of comes to different types of wax for different things. But this guy, he brought it came in 5 gallon buckets, and this the rep, the way he put the wax down is he would pour it into a watering, like a plant watering bucket,
oh yeah.
and then he would take that and run it up and down the aisles, pouring the wax up and down the aisles,
All
and then
right.
he would wax behind it. And like we were all just kind of scratching our heads, like you are just. I feel like that's just wasting. That's a lot of time and energy for you know for just wasted time, really. And
Yeah, yeah.
so for we did it was one of our smaller grocery stores, so it was probably 20,000 square foot, but we did 4 coats, and he all he did was just fill that watering
Never seen that.
canteen up and run up and down the aisles.
Yeah, I've
So
never seen that. Well, one of the
I've never
guys,
seen it since. That's the only time I've ever seen someone do like that. But
yeah,
you
there
know,
was a guy one of the first, when I first started out in like custodian, janitorial, housekeeping type stuff, he told me there's 10 ways to skin a cat.
yeah.
My way and your way, it might not be the same way as long as we get it done and it looks good. You
Well,
do it right.
that's pretty much it. Like yes, there are wrong ways, and yes, there are right ways, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the route as long as it looks good when you're done. And that's what I always tell people. So like
Yeah,
even with just general cleaning, like all these guys that work for me, this is how I train someone. So you've never done it before? All right, come on. You're gonna go with me 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna show you how I do it. I'm gonna tell you number one, I'm gonna tell you what is expected from the store. And then number two, I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. I'm gonna show you the patterns I run and what I think is easiest and what works for me. And then you're on your own. And then once I'm out of the equation, figure out whatever works for you. The way I
yeah,
do it may not work for you, or you may figure out something else that works better for you. But at
right.
the end of the day, as long as it looks good, that's
Yeah,
all that matters. And then
yeah,
I used to tell that to guys at Walmart too. Like when I was stripping floors at Walmart, it was like those guys were the worst. Like they had so many bad habits. Like they every I with the exception of one person, everybody I've ever known that was trained at Walmart to strip and wax the floor was terrible at it. And
yeah,
they all thought they were amazing. They all thought they were the best. And the first thing I would do when I came into a store, because I worked at 5 different stores, the first thing I would do is I'd shut it down. Like no one's stripping and waxing floors other than me. And and it would take months, sometimes in some cases even years, a year or so to get these people in their head that you don't need thick coats of wax. Like, and on top of that, you actually have to strip the floor all the way down to bare tile. Like, that was something that none of them ever wanted to do. They wanted to top scrub, and then they wanted to top scrub everything and then just put, and so like that was another thing. Like I don't care what you do as long as it looks good, but what you've been doing does not look good. So like
Yeah.
I have to shut it down. I can't tell you how many people quit because they didn't like me because I wouldn't let them do what they wanted to do, and that was going back to like the learning at Walmart,
Yeah.
learning how to uh learning how to be that guy where it's like, look, guys, like I know you want to, but no, like I know this is what you have done for years, but you're doing it wrong. We need to go back to the basics and relearn what you've been doing uh because white tile is not supposed to be a dark brown. White tile is not supposed to be green, you know, and it's not supposed to look like bar top.
Right.
Well, buddy, we have been talking actually now for going on an hour and a half, close to it. So we'll probably get to a stopping point here. Is there anything
And Dustin,
that
I
you?
really appreciate you allowing me to come onto your podcast. I think what you're doing is a great deal, man. I mean, I was really interested when I saw your podcast, man, because I'm still learning about floors. I've been doing it for a while, but I'm always willing to learn, man, and want to learn more and see how other people do stuff.
Yeah, man.
Because like you said, it's something we have in common. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for putting me on, and man, good luck to you. Congratulations on your health, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big. I'd love to talk to you about that, man. That's cool.
Well,
Um,
it was man. That was. Don't get me wrong. I've gained some of it back. I've gained probably about half of it back. I was close to 300 pounds, and then I got down below 200, and I held below 200 for about a year. And then I went and I walked around at about 215, 220 to 225 for a couple of years. Then in this last year, I've actually ballooned out. I hurt my neck last summer really bad. And it laid me up for quite a while where I had this just severely pinched nerve in my neck.
yeah.
And so two things really kind of happened then that really affected my weight. One was I just was not getting sleep
Mm.
because I couldn't find a comfort. I would sleep for like 15 minutes and then be up for 2 hours. Sleep for 15 minutes, be up for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Um, and when I lose sleep like that, I don't care about what I'm eating. I'm like, just give me some food. I'm like, I want comfort food.
Right.
So
Right.
I was eating a lot of garbage, and then
Yeah.
I went to the doctor, went to chiropractors, went to physical therapists, went to all kinds of stuff, and they pain relievers. They gave me some like pain pills, like legit pills. Do nothing for it. They gave me like muscle relaxers. Didn't do anything for it. The only thing that actually worked for it was like alcohol. And so I started drinking just to take the pain away. And so I
Yeah.
was drinking too much and eating too much, and then here it is, a little over a year later, and like I physically have not recovered. So I'm actually currently trying to figure out. I need to start losing some more weight, but
How's your neck? The pain in your neck still a lot better now?
the neck pain is gone. But
Oh,
what it
good.
was it was the nerve for this finger and the thumb
Yeah.
that goes up and down this arm into the neck. And so this finger and thumb went numb. And so even right now they're still numb.
Yeah.
So the neck pain is gone, but the still just numbness in those two fingers.
Yeah.
Um, but I also have like chronic back issues from doing floors my whole life. From doing floors, and then it's like kind of like degenerative, like my family has it.
Right.
My dad has a bad back. My grandfather had a bad back. My
Yeah.
dad's had both hips replaced, you know,
Yeah.
and so like I got to be real careful with my back, and you know, it's been a learning curve for me to like literally in the last year. This is what I've learned solely in this last year is like when I show up for a big job, whether I'm stripping a floor or doing epoxy on a floor, like before I physically start working, I have to take time to stretch. It doesn't have to be much, but I have to move my body and kind of get, especially my back. I got to loosen my spine up before I start working because if I don't, I'll hurt myself, and then
Yeah.
I'll be hurting for 4 weeks. To
Right.
four, like, 4 to 8 weeks, I'll just be hurting, and so like that's been my life this last year is getting, you know, getting my body to tell my brain that I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 30 anymore. You know, I
Yep.
got
Yep.
so. But
Well, right on, man.
anyhow,
Well,
man, we'll get off here, but we'll do it again sometime soon because I feel like
appreciate
we got more to talk about.
it. Love it, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.